Hey guys, this is Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I am back with another character babble. This is going to be for my OC Samson, and as per usual, if you prefer, just ignore my babble and just watch the speed paint. You can just mute me and watch the speed paint. That's totally fine and understandable. But yeah, so Samson is part of my Vampire Hunters universe, and that is a world where there's a bunch of different sorts of vampires, and obviously there's got to be some antagonists. So the vampire hunters have an organization funded by the Vatican and the Catholic Church. There are independent hunters out there, but most of them work for at least a church of some sort for funding, just because something demons something fight against evil, etc., etc. Admittedly, I haven't quite figured out the specifics behind a lot of that yet, just because most of the stuff that I work with is actually the interpersonal relationship part of that, not the specifications of how the um, how the church actually works and is like funded and stuff. Because at the point in time the story starts, the organization is already corrupt and being run by a hypocritical half monster, half human. So yeah, Samson is one of the members of the vampire hunter group. He is primarily a melee fighter, and he primarily fights with a spear. Uh, he is partnered up with my sister Chen's OC Marcus. Marcus works as a like bait slash long distance sort of fighter, uh, who is generally used to lure monsters who would eat humans out and try and eat him, and then Samson will basically do the harder work of taking down the monster. Uh, and as a result, Samson has a bit more of a buffer body type than my usual characters. I attempted to go for like stocky and well built. Um, I'm never sure how well it comes off whenever I draw characters like that. I know that my characters tend to come off as skinnier than like the average of what I'm trying to go for. It's something I'm attempting to work on, but eh. Um, yeah, Samson is a melee fighter who fights with a spear. He is very good at his job and very quiet, but sort of as a result, he tends to get overlooked a lot and can be somewhat prone to jealousy when other people like get praise or credit for stuff that he helps with and he's kind of overlooked. Uh, it's been an issue before because he doesn't usually do big, risky sorts of actions towards, like, enemies and stuff like that. He's not really a risk taker, but because of that, when he does try and take risks or tries to do something big, he tends to make mistakes more often because he's not used to doing it. He's also one of the few characters I have who is actually straight. And that's not because I dislike having straight characters or anything. I, as a queer creator, have a lot of queer characters, and that's just sort of how it goes. But Samson is one of my characters who is straight. He has attempted to have relationships with people of other genders, and generally it doesn't work out if it's not a girl, just because he's just not attracted to uh, other people. Um, and he figured this out because his partner Marcus tried to date him, and it didn't go well. He wasn't super like, I don't want to say he wasn't super invested in it because he did try, but there just wasn't any sort of connection that he felt, and it was like honestly a little bit upsetting for him. But he did try. He is currently in a relationship with Chen's character Tuss, and that is because Tuss is very punky and strong, and Samson likes that because sometimes he doesn't want to be the strong person of the team. Sometimes he wants someone else to be able to take on that responsibility a little bit, and Tuss can do that, and he doesn't have to worry about her getting hurt. He does have a bit of an issue with dissociation sometimes as well, which he is worried about with relationships. As I mentioned, the current vampire hunter group is corrupt and being run by a very bad leader. And as a fighter, Sam does suffer a little bit of PTSD and external issues, and his primary defense against that is that he dissociates a lot in terms of physical feelings. So sometimes he just won't feel pain if he's dissociating, or won't feel like other people like touching him on the shoulder or stuff like that. And he's concerned sometimes that if he does that when he has a nightmare or if he's sleeping, then he's not going to be able to be woken up by people and might hurt them. He doesn't have to worry about that with Tuss because he knows that if she is ever in trouble or if there's something that can happen, she has the ability to just punch him in the jaw or something like that and get him off of her. And so he's not really worried about that. And that's why he likes his girlfriend very much. He has tried to do like super dramatic stuff before in terms of like stuff that he wants to attempt to do to help the church. Like one time he froze a very high key vampire's bank account, but it didn't work out the way he intended because some people were needing that bank account for like health insurance that were not the high class vampire, and Samson legitimately did not think about who that might be affecting, and so there was some problems there. Overall, he's a pretty reliable and chill person, except for when he tries to do, some crazy things. But when he's not doing stuff in terms of his job, he likes making music. He's into rave music, EDM, and electro swing. He makes his own music, and when he was in college, he was actually in a music conservatory and went to college to be a professional flute player. I believe that's called a flutist or flautist, depending on what region you're in. And he's been called out on that before because he said that he was trained to be a flautist, and someone's like, "Oh, so you're not from America." And he is not. He's from the UK. I might change that because I'm not entirely sure where in the UK he would be from yet. But he is from like that area right now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna change that to like Wales or Scotland or anything like that, but I'll figure something out at some point. But yeah, he is. I don't want to say boring because I do like him as a character. He's got more quieter depths in him than most of my other characters do, and mostly he's used as like the straight man to a lot of comedic stuff, and he's the normal everyday person as opposed to the weird like wild personalities he's surrounded with. Oh, I am drawing his tattoos in this part of the video, though, so I do want to talk about that really quickly. One other thing about Samson is that he does, because he is a melee fighter, there is potential for, like, damage to his clothes and stuff like that. So, in the case where he may be disarmed, fighting hand to hand, might have clothing damage or armor damage, he does have quite a few religious tattoos that are basically all over his body. That's what he spends most of his money on. It's generally in the case of if he's being attacked by, like, say, like a vampire who's trying to suck his blood. He's got tattoos on his neck that prevent that. He's got tattoos on his hands, arms, legs, all the way down his torso and back. So it generally will keep demons, vampires, and any other creatures that are repelled by holy symbols off of his back while he can recover. Which, considering he is a close range combat fighter, it's a little bit important for him to not, like, you know, be subdued just from the fact that he doesn't have any armor around him. But yeah, I think that's, again, about it in terms of Samson. I was just saying about how he is kind of a bit boring compared to the other characters that I have, but, you know, sometimes when you have a cast full of wild and crazy characters, especially like monster hunters, and you have all the wild monsters that are terrorizing people, you want something that's able to be a foil to that or a counter to that. And that is Samson for me. He's stable, he is reliable, and honestly, he's really fun to work with in terms of finding a character who has, like, a very quiet lifestyle. So, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this little character babble of Samson. I know it's kind of a little bit all over the place. This is, like, the last video I'm recording for the day, so my energy is a little bit down for that. I apologize. But thank you guys for your support, and thank you guys for joining me for this character babble. I hope to see you guys next time, and I will see you later. Bye! Well, that's the end of this video. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, or contact me on any of my social media, which is linked in the description below. I also have my Patreon there if you guys want to throw a monthly donation at me. Thanks so much for your support. I'll see you next time. Bye!